Where have you been for 3 nights? Oh, your friends, come on in, don't worry, eat something.
She's not concerned that they just beat some guy.
No,
with a baseball bat
no,
and put him in the trunk.
I didn't tell her. I didn't tell my mother there was a body in the trunk. I just said, your son is home. He's home, cook some food. Bob is playing an Irish guy, give him some potatoes and eggs with ketchup. That kind of stuff. It was a whole thing, and then they improvised everything. The only thing that was written was, did you see my painting? Which was from Nick Pileggi's mother. She had painted, that was her painting. And everything else was improvised with my mother saying, why don't you settle down? I said, I do. Why don't you get a nice girl and settle down? Joe says, I do. I get a nice girl every night. I settle down every night. She goes, no, I love you, Mom. And all of that went on with 2 cameras, and I just sat there. Eat something. 2 cameras and a small little house in Astoria, I think, in Queens. And but no, it's a very special thing. But she does love her son unequivocally.
Our next guest has starred in some terrific motion pictures such as Goodfellas and also Field of Dreams. His latest movie is entitled No Escape, and it opens on April.
You made it. You're the first I've ever seen make it this far.
So what is it you need me to do? Is it gonna help me get out of here?
Yes. Now listen carefully, Ethan. My family and our bodies are contaminated. I can't leave the property unless I get it out. And the same goes for Mia.
Is there a way to get it out?
We need the serum. It should clear whatever this stuff is out of the body. As long as you're not too far gone.
All right, so where is it?
If I knew where one was, I'd already be long gone. But I have a feeling my mother has hidden some inside the old house somewhere.
So if we get this thing, I can help Mia and we can get out of here?
Right. And so can I. The old house is near the water. You can't miss it.
All right.
I just hope you can handle my mother.
Your mother?
Be careful. They'll be looking for you.
Now it's dark.
Let's fuck! I'll fuck anything that moves!
Reading out information today related to this Star Trek episode, Alan of Troyes. Covering the episode was seen in the ship's recreation room where Kirk, McCoy, Uhura, and Spock meet and discuss how to calm Alan. Uhura's just using the sound of Spock's Vulcan harp to calm her. Music is later heard piped into Alan's cabin. This episode features the first appearance of the D7.
Say my name.
Breaking Banquet.
You're goddamn right.
Wings returned to YouTube.
We gave you basically, there's 3 options that Jordy had. The first of which was come onto the show, apologize, take accountability, fix your shit, do it in an entertaining way, do it and make money. He said, nah, pimp, pay me what you owe me, pimp, I'm out, pimp, I'm out of here, pimp. The second option was to do what every YouTuber ever has done, which is lay low for a while, work on it in the background, come back when you're better. Guess what he did instead? He waited 9 days, 10 days, went live. 10 days later, that's the and then tried to downplay everything. You came back to try to tell the internet they were wrong. Guess how many times that's worked for a YouTuber ever? 0 times. You can't tell the internet that the internet's wrong. You dumb motherfucker. I'm so goddamn mad. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
Long story short, he's in a Rainbow Six lobby with people who he trusts. You know, Wings' online friends, which he truly trusts, that are secretly recording him, okay? And he's telling the online friend while he's playing Rainbow Six, oh yeah, I'm done with that. I'm gonna get paid out 40 grand.
What? Again, what on what planet are you getting a payout of 40K? Not reality, bitch.
So, one, that's just not true. But 2, he's breaking the NDA. But 3, you know, his online friends are not his online friends. Someone recorded him saying that, sent it directly to one of his detractors, right? And now we have him breaking the NDA and just airing out like finances, which he's not supposed to do. That put us in like a horrible situation, because if anyone were to believe that number, then it's like now we're scamming him, right? It's just not true. So he clearly is in violation of the NDA that I signed, which has now happened like multiple times. Obviously, you know, the whole reason.
I think he tried to roll back on his.
Don't forget, by the way. Don't forget, by the way, he keeps saying, Keem, you broke the NDA. Keemstar broke the NDA. Keemstar broke the NDA. Explain to the audience, because you can't seem to explain to Jordy. Explain to the audience why that's a stupid thing to say.
I don't know how to explain this any more. I am the company. This is my information that I can say whatever I want. It doesn't matter, right? If Boogie and Wings, the one that has signed the NDA with me, the company, they're the ones that can't leak shit. I can. I don't know where the disconnect is. Like, if you go to our Twitter right now, where I put out a tweet about him breaking NDA, there's like 50 responses. Well, Keem, you did too. I'm the company. Like, I don't. Are we lost? And then there was, you know, Grievous Demise is in the chat in the Discord, and he's like, well, Keem, I think you have to pay some fine for breaking the NDA. I'm the company, Grievous Demise. I don't understand the disconnect here. I don't get.
Yeah, why would you sign an agreement with yourself?
He threw out a random number to see if he could trust these people, and that he actually has no idea what any of the numbers actually are.
Yeah.
So he tried to control it out.
He gets exposed. Wings gets exposed for, you know, breaking NDA and all this stuff. And then he did a live stream today where he talked about a bunch of stuff, which we're going to review and we're going to respond to.
Yeah, I'm trying to resign. I'm trying to hold in my ire. I'm so mad at this guy right now. He really hurt my feelings today, genuinely.
We'll explain because we talked. This is the reason why Boogie's so pissed off is because after his stream today, me and Boogie got on the phone with Wings and we had a big fight. It was me, Boogie, Wings, and Kelly, and the four of us got into one hell of a fight.
Look here, Pimp. My forward momentum leaked the NDA.
Wings and Boogie got into such a heated fight that like left the call.
No, he said, oh, this conversation would be way more productive without Boogie here. I've texted Jordy, I think, about a dozen times, had a private conversation with Kelly, who, by the way, I still feel sorry for you, Kelly, but you are pissing me off too, by the way, lady. Let me ask you, when I was going through the worst time in my YouTube career, Keemstar, how many times did you and I talk?
All right, so this is what we're saying.
At the same time, I was trying to put on a show, so like in my head, I was like, okay, I just fucked up. But at the same time, I feel like the fuck up I did shouldn't have been a fuck up. And it really got in my head, and I just started like kind of crashing out and just like going off the rails with it. Trying to pick my words carefully here. And what ended up happening was like I had no intention did I ever want to hit anybody, right? Like when I was at the scale and I was supposed to do the weigh-in, because like there's people make a lot of assumptions, right? Because I remember somebody saying that, oh, he took his keys, his watch, and everything off because he knew what was about to happen. No, I took my keys, my watch, and everything off because I didn't want the extra weight for me to weigh, right? Because I wanted to be 404 like I was that morning in the cabin, right?
So I believe
and
that.
Like, they always want to weigh on camera at the end of the day after you drank water, you might have ate something, you might have to poop. There's all kinds of variables that go into it. I usually weigh myself for the first thing I get up, and after the morning tinkle. That's usually how I do it. But that's the reason I took all my shit off, right? And I was just amped up. I had adrenaline going. And even when I went over to Keem and I like pointed at the camera, I wasn't wanting to fight him there either. But like my adrenaline was going. And what ended up happening was like when Keemstar stood up, like I kind of like got into his personal space a little bit, and my belly bumped him because I got a big fat ass belly. And he put his arm out like this to make space. But in my head, it instantly went to like, oh, he just fucking pushed me. And I pushed him back, and then nothing happened, right? Like he grabbed my throat. I reached over and grabbed his throat. It kind of just died right there, right? Because I didn't want to hit him. He didn't want to hit me. We went our separate ways, but I was still hot. I still had adrenaline pumping through me. You know, I mean, to the point where like my hands were shaking. You know, you kind of get the adrenaline stuff, and like I went into the house to cool off. Other things happened, right? Other people kind of got loud with me and told me what I should do and what I shouldn't do and stuff in the house. And I'm like, whatever. So like I started getting my stuff because like, okay, I just attacked the boss. I'm going home. So I went and grabbed my clippers, and they are clippers. They're not a gun or anything like that. They're clippers. Matter of fact, I could probably show you. No, the other person was not Kelly. Kelly was trying to calm me down almost the whole time.
No, you can go back to the footage and see that I did not shove him. He pushed me, and as soon as I was being pushed, I put my hand up on his throat to have one swing hand free in case it was going down. That's exactly what I did. You know? But anyhow.
I hear them basically talking trash, saying I dig deeper holes and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over there, and I did it in the wrong manner. Right? I kind of like was walking fast as I would deal with them, and everybody took that as me going over there to start shit again. And they started like holding me back and everything like that. So I started like, I don't know if you guys know, but there was like, the guy in front of me, his name's Ken. Ken is this big ass motherfucker. He's like 6'5", 250 pounds, former military. And like if I want to get what I want to say, I'm about to get past this. So I started pushing my shoulders down and like pushing through Ken, and everybody starts grabbing me. And once they start grabbing me, I'm trying to like shake it off, and you know what happened. Basically, I let my personal vendetta and rage get the best of me, and it put somebody I hurt, somebody I love, in a place they can get hurt. And I take full responsibility for that. Slap it in the car. Well, calling it a slappy, I mean, I can see how you could call it a slap, but it's more the sound than the actual action. And that's more to do with anxiety. Like, we were in Atlanta, and Kelly was driving I just got done driving probably 6 hours, or whatever it might be, and like I needed a break, and we were trying to make it from Myrtle Beach to Montgomery, Alabama in one go. So like after about 6 hours, all right, I need a break. So Kelly took over right around Atlanta. Oh shit, Shy donated $125. Thank you, Shy. Shy, you a real one, man. And yeah, she does have her mug. So we're in Atlanta, and like she gets into the heavy traffic. Anybody's ever been in traffic? Atlanta traffic bad. It's not LA bad, but it's close. Right? It's bad. You got, I hate to say this, but you got Hellcats going everywhere. Like Hellcat's like the unofficial car of Atlanta. Yeah, they love the Dodgers over in Atlanta. But regardless, we miss an exit, and we get dumped off into one of the ghettos of Atlanta, a ghetto called Bankhead. If anybody's not familiar with South Bankhead, is not a spot you want to be in, right? I mean,
I'll tell you, one thing that really annoys me is the over-explaining Wings does. Like, good Lord, do I need to know every detail?
What was the weather like at the time?
He was like, yeah, the weather was doing this.
55.
There was a tree close to the road. Bro, come on, brother.
For the record, Bankhead has a crime score of 7, which is about 3 points higher than the national average. So it is considerably. It's not like a 10. It's not like downtown Chicago. Homes.com. But just to be clear, he's not wrong. It's a little bit dangerous. A little bit dangerous. Maybe not slap your wife dangerous, but a little bit dangerous.
Okay, we're not in the greatest spot. And Kelly starts blaring on the horn. Somebody. Maybe she'll explain what she was thinking about. And I'm like, Kelly, stop. And I tell her like.
Which you can't get done in a short period of time. There's about a million ways to resolve that with your wife that don't involve about a million before away from the phone like she's a child about to reach for a stove, right? So the problem, again, I've said this, you said this, I think as well. The clip in Isolation where he like slaps his hands, wife off of his, right? But you should never do that. There's so many better ways to have done that.
He still sees the car slapping video as a nothing burger. Before the incident took place, like before Wings even pushed Kelly, pushed me, anything, he was saying, hey, I recorded Wings and Kelly on the way to Fat Camp and they were arguing and fighting. And I got so much footage. And at one point, it got ugly. Like he was telling me.
Yeah, he told me at the beginning of Fat Camp, he said, yeah, I was trying to vlog down here. The footage is entirely unusable. All they did was argue for the moment we left to the moment we got here.
So then,
I was like, okay.
So then this is what happens, Rostov, right? After he pushes Kelly, after he pushes me, after he leaves, then Twiggy's bringing up the footage again that he has, and everyone's like, oh, now we want to see this. You know what I mean? Because we want to know if we're dealing with someone that's actually, like, does domestic violence. And so I think John went and grabbed the clip, edited it up so we could all watch it in the theater room, and we all saw it, and we all had the same opinion. Yes, Kelly doesn't have a black eye. Yes, Kelly doesn't have a broken arm. But it's still
Powerade
laying hands on your wife.
Super chatted $20.27. This is why you told Wings to stay offline. He
Yup.
came back and got in positions to do stupid shit like this.
Yup.
So you don't, like, it wasn't like a malicious, like, let's fuck him over sort of thing. He was just like a, holy crap, this was bad, like, here it is.
Yeah.
It's the same as when I told Keemstar about them fighting in the Airbnb in up in Buffalo, right? I told him about that just almost anecdotally, right? You're like, yeah, they got into a really bad fight this morning. I think Jordy might be in a bad mood, right? That's it. I don't think Twiggy was like trying to put the guy on blast or sell him out.
I was in this small space. The reason I got in front of Jordy is because I wanted to stop him, and the easiest way to stop this man was for me to get in front of him because I knew this man was not going to hurt me. Okay, I just know it. So when I got in front of him, well, actually, I was.
Yeah, turns out wrong. Turns out you were fucking wrong.
This is why, Kelly, Wings, I know you're probably watching right now. This is why you listen to Keemstar. When Keemstar says stay offline, stay offline. Kelly said, word for word, the reason why I got in front of Jordy is because I knew he was not going to hurt me. And then, like, that whole thing is going to be clipped now. Like, you guys don't understand the internet. Wings literally thinks, oh, I can play Rainbow Six and talk about my personal finances, about Lolcow Live. No one's going to record me. No one's going to send it to one of my detractors. Like, you guys don't understand the internet at all. You're never going to. And this is why Wings has been a lolcow for a fucking, like, since 2017, almost a decade. It's because he doesn't understand the internet. He doesn't. Anyhow,
I told him on the phone today the best advice that anyone could give him right now. And Jordy, if you're listening, let me reiterate, because I'm not screaming this time, so maybe you can hear it a little clearer. For the rest of your life, if you're in a public place, if you're alone at the grocery store with your wife in an aisle alone, presume every word you speak will be recorded and played back by Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger or all these other mother pieces of shit. That's how it is for the rest of your life. You just need to presume everything you say is going to be recorded and scrutinized forever. Just accept that.
I can literally watch that clip and instantly see the meme. The meme. Instantly. I knew if I got in front of him, he wasn't going to hurt me, and then clip of her getting thrown on the table. Like, it's not simple.
That's exactly what it got posted up as too. Yep.
It did already?
Yeah, so I'm breaking back with exactly how you just said it there.
You're 41. You can't live with your parents.
How does knowing your man lusts after page 5?
Page 5? That came out of my secret bank account.
No, it didn't.
It did.
Daily political Asmongold tier slop.
Why does Moot to look like the bloody Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049? Mutahar just needs to stop spiraling over drama, people making fun of him.
Well, Mutahar's like boogieing out. That's the problem. It's like, bro, just chill out, relax, have a fucking take, and just do your thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, fucking this politician bad, this politician good, from every angle. And it's,
So yeah, when he's making this point, I'm like, are you talking about Nux's channel? Because that's all I see there. Like Nux's channel is the epitome of the cancer that Mood is talking about right now, which is just so fucking funny to think about, right? It's like we've come full circle.
This politician
it's
bad.
fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And to sort of see it bleed into my content, and in some cases in my community, is just something where I feel like I have to course correct and really personally step away from. But yeah, I wanted to make this video, wanted to really talk about it, wanted to give an update, wanted to speak my mind. But yeah, I'm going to go back to recording some of this game. I'm going to go back to hacking that PlayStation 3 and installing Linux onto it, because that is something that actually found
Linux!
PlayStation 3. Let me tell you something right now. I went to heaven and hell to find those things. So that is going to be a video I want to say sometime this week, in amongst a couple 4chan videos, because there's a wild group of wacky girls. There's a lot of content that has nothing to do with any political figure whatsoever. That hopefully is content that some of the best content that I've had.
So it sounds like you were planning on making a bunch of content that's not political focused anyway, and then you had to make a video explaining that you're not going to cover political content. What was the point?
I must return to the but I also think all of your audience are chasers for Bo Black.
That last part is true.
So what was the point of this video? Just waste my fucking time. Fuck this video, man.
Found a lot of characters that I was very passionate about. So my early time was a video that did pretty well, and it's those kind of videos that I genuinely want to make more, because the audience really liked it, I really liked it, and the best part is the comment sections to those videos always engage with the actual meat and potatoes of the video. That said, this is me, Mutahar, and
Well, great. There we go.
Wow.
He could have made a video talking about stroking his shit for 10 minutes. It would have had more value than this one. It's like
So the takeaway is he's done with commentary and politics and shit.
Yeah. Got it. All right, man.
Move to just put the creepypastas in the bag, bro.
Well, there's our Mutahar update. Mutahar is done with politics. Let's go. Brilliant segment there, guys. Brilliant segment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed
How many
that.
people would have How many people would have cared if he didn't make that fucking video? I think nobody would have gave a fuck if he didn't make that video and just posted what he wanted. Whose mind did this change?
W video. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first video of the year, and we're talking about Bo Black's wearing a fucking dress. Okay, I mean, this is just
more
this
bullshit,
has gotta
Mia.
be like the
I want some
worst
answers.
I know.
first of the year
I
video.
know, you're right, and I always wanted to tell you, but I can only remember a little, and the rest is just gone.
Daddy, right? You mind if I borrow Mommy for a little bit? Why don't you stand there? Do something!
Ethan, help!
Damn it.
I think we've ever done. I mean, what the hell is even going on here?
Yeah, Boblax has gone to Twitter and spread just total lies about myself and the commentary community. So
Yeah, and it's odd too because he might actually have like something he could legitimately complain about, but instead of like doing that, he's put up a post where he just completely throws him under the bus, lies like 4 different times in the tweet. I'm not even sure if he's like even aware of it, right? Now, in fairness, he has deleted this tweet, but he hasn't issued any sort of statement. And if you guys are completely out of the clue of what's going on, well, basically this whole situation is some fall off from a New Year's stream that myself, Chud Logic, Nicholas Diorio, and Turkey Tom did. We're on the stream, a bunch of crazy shit happened and was discussed, one of which being this picture from Boblax. Apparently, Chud Logic accidentally sort of revealed the existence of a picture of Boblax in a dress that was taken back in July amidst his giant meltdown.
It's, okay, you know, it is public. Not the picture itself, but it is public. There's a picture of him in a dress floating about. Wait, what?
Whoa!
Wait, what? What?
Wait.
Huh? What?
They
Huh?
don't know.
What?
We never mentioned that.
Wait,
the worst
what?
thing you guys do, is when you hear that somebody's gonna leak something, you don't play it off as a joke. So you're like, whoa, don't talk about that.
So, just for the timeline of events here, right? Back in July, obviously, Boblax was being very strange. He had this big fight with Nick, this big blowout fight with Nick that myself, Nick, you were there for it, and Alien Projects were all there for it, right? When Boblax started hitting with Nick and was freaked out because he tweeted something about how non-binary people are valid, and Tom was something in reply. I wasn't even shitting on Boblax because we said something. And Boblax took it really personally, but then when he deemed Nick about it, the conversation turned into this giant, like, sort of meltdown that he had, where he revealed a lot of, like, true feelings he had about Nick, myself. He felt that we weren't really his good friends anymore, that we kind of stopped talking to him, that he built my community and my YouTube channel, and he was sort of owed some sort of, I guess, praise.
Respect or something.
Yeah, respect or something. He basically just had, like, a full psychotic, schizophrenic breakdown. And it was very obvious that something very strange was going on inside of his mind. And a day later, he had a very similarly crazy meltdown in Alex Gekmo's DMs, who's just like a community follower in this.
Yeah, just a spurg in the community.
Yeah, he has like 1,000 followers. He's just some spurg or whatever, right? Boblax had a full meltdown in that guy's DMs because that guy was also making tweets going after Boblax, and Boblax was demanding that guy to remove the tweets, and basically Alex told him to fuck off. And so then Boblax started doxing his medical info. He was like, I'm in the loony bin right now. Here's my medical wristband with all my data on it.
Legal name and my everything.
Yeah, it had his full name on it. It had phone numbers on it and stuff like that. So he started like just doxing himself, saying all this crazy shit to Alex.
Yeah.
And obviously, he then showed this conversation to you.
Yes.
So this was around the time that Boblax was having like his total mental breakdown. And a few days after this Alex conversation took place, you hit up Boblax. You reached out to him. And you were like, "Hey man, are you doing better? Are you doing okay?"
Yeah, well, basically at the time, I kind of, I caught wind of this obviously through you and Nick because the meltdown was just insane. And so me and Boblax were kind of playing games or whatever at the time, just casually, every now and then. So one time I messaged him, I said, "Hey, how are things going? Are you doing all right?" And one of those times I messaged him, he decided to give me a call and he wanted to update me on things going on in his life. And so basically the call I had was almost one-to-one identical to the meltdown that he had with Nick Diorio. He came out to me as non-binary in this call. He sent me that break the binary Instagram account that he also sent to Nick Diorio. He explained a bunch of stuff about, his identity or whatever. But on top of that, he also sent me pictures of himself virtually unprompted just to show me, I guess, what he looks like when he's dressed up. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
we'll
so-
read his explanation of events in a second
Right.
here and correct it. But yeah, just unprompted, he just starts sending you like he starts telling you all about his like
Yeah.
sexual life or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Where it's
Yeah.
just he gives you all these unprompted details. You were basically doing like a mental health check. You were just like, hey man, are you feeling better? He's like, here's me an address.
Yeah, he basically
It's like,
just kinda-
whoa, okay, buddy, I did not ask for this.
And just before we read it, we'll read it, of course, to see what he says. But in this call, he gave me explicit permission to share any information, anything he showed to you. He said, I don't really know how to tell Augie these kind of things. Whatever we talked about, whatever you saw, you can show Augie anything. I said, okay. And so I did. I shared it with you. And then he decides to go and make a tweet where he's basically just completely lying about the situation that happened between him and I. So
Yeah, and I'll explain my involvement in a second, but he puts out a big statement, and again, this thing's full of lies. He starts off by saying, Connor Relaxate is such a piece of shit, man. Which is like, every time I read this statement, like the first sentence, he's like, Connor is such a piece of shit, man.
yeah, it's like a DM or something. He's just messaging someone that I'm.
This was tweeted at 1 a.m. last night, and it makes no sense to me. He says, we worked on content together, or we worked on content, talking to each other daily for most of 2024, and became good friends. He started asking about how I was doing. I was very comfortable with him, since we talked so much that I felt safe to come out to him as non-binary. Now, this part, I don't necessarily think is that crazy for him to...
Kind of, except when you forget the fact he like told like tons of people behind the scenes apparently,
right?
And also he's sharing a lot of
and not in the
information.
content of mental breakdown. If he just said that, it's like, okay, well, everyone on Twitter is
Right.
non-binary. This would not be that. And Bulbox has had many tweets talking about stuff like this before, so it kind of just be like, okay.
Well, he'd tell like random community spurgs he was non-binary too. Was he like messaging community spurgs, hey, I'm non-binary?
Right?
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
just
So it
random
wasn't-
people in our audience, random people in the chat. He was just reviewing this information to them.
Yeah, so it wasn't like super personal. Like I'm super safe. So that's I didn't even notice that before, but that also is kind of a lie where he's trying to present this as like
You were
sort of
the only
super
person
personal.
he felt comfortable with, and you betrayed him.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
Completely. So continuing on.
He says, I then showed him an image of me in a dress with one of my IRL queer friends to let him know people IRL accepted me and to give him an idea of my gender. Why the fuck would you need to do that?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. To give you an idea of my gender.
Yeah.
Like, what? And a picture of him in a dress. I mean, call me crazy. I feel like that's... image like that to you, unprompted, when you're not totally nuts. Picture of him in a dress. I mean, call me crazy with Nick. Like, he starts telling you all about his like
Yeah.
sexual life or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Where it's
Yeah.
just he gives you all these unprompted details. You were basically doing like a mental health check. You were just like, hey man, are you feeling better? He's like, here's me an address.
Yeah, he basically
It's like,
just kinda-
whoa, okay, buddy, I did not ask for this.
And just before we read it, we'll read it, of course, to see what he says. But in this call, he gave me explicit permission to share any information, anything he showed to you. He said, I don't really know how to tell Augie these kind of things. Whatever we talked about, whatever you saw, you can show Augie anything. I said, okay. And so I did. I shared it with you. And then he decides to go and make a tweet where he's basically just completely lying about the situation that happened between him and I. So
yeah, and I'll explain my involvement in a second, but he puts out a big statement, and again, this thing's full of lies. He starts off by saying, Connor Relaxate is such a piece of shit, man. Which is like, every time I read this statement, like the first sentence, he's like, Connor is such a piece of shit, man.
yeah, it's like a DM or something. He's just messaging someone that I'm.
This was tweeted at 1 a.m. last night, and it makes no sense to me. He says, we worked on content together, or we worked on content, talking to each other daily for most of 2024, and became good friends. He started asking about how I was doing. I was very comfortable with him, since we talked so much that I felt safe to come out to him as non-binary. Now, this part, I don't necessarily think is that crazy for him to...
Kind of, except when you forget the fact he like told like tons of people behind the scenes apparently.
Right.
And also he was sharing a lot of
and not in the
personal
context of a mental breakdown. If he just said that, it's like, okay, well, everyone on Twitter is
Right.
non-binary. This would not be that. And
Yeah, I mean, he
Bulbox has had many tweets of talking about stuff like this before, so it kind
Yeah.
of just be like, okay.
Well, he'd tell like random community spurgs that he was non-binary too. Was he like messaging community spurgs, hey, I'm non-binary? stuff
Right.
like
Yeah,
that. So
just
it wasn't-
random people in our audience, random people in the chat. He was just reviewing this information to them.
Yeah, so it wasn't like super personal. Like this is I'm super safe. So that's I didn't even notice that before, but that also is kind of a lie where he's trying to present this as like some
You were
sort
the
of
only
super
person
personal-
he felt comfortable with, and you betrayed him.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
Completely. So continuing on.
He says, I then showed him an image of me in a dress with one of my IRL queer friends to let him know people IRL accepted me and to give him an idea of my gender. Why the fuck would you need to do that?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. To give you an idea of my gender.
Yeah.
Like, what? And a picture of him in a dress. I mean, call me crazy. I feel like that's totally nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that sending an image like that to you unprompted when you're not even really asking about that stuff is just kind of like, whoa. Like, slow down, man. Like, I did not sign up to view this today.
Well,
like,
he definitely went very, very fast. And again, I mean, I didn't really care that much that he told me this at the time, but in context of everything else that I knew, like with his whole meltdown and his freak out on Nick and everything else I knew, it was definitely
his
a lot more
spurking about
concerning.
Alex
Because
Gekmo.
another
And
thing that happened here, which he doesn't mention in this tweet, is that he also sent me a second part, which was there's like the image in of him in the dress. He also sent me another part where it was like him in a dress, and then he edited him in a dress next to a picture of him in a dress next to Keemstar, and he was like, dude, this would be so funny if this is public, like a guy in a dress owned Keemstar, like isn't that so funny? Because he was on
yeah, wasn't he like
art.
fantasizing about like
Yeah.
making out with him and be like, it would be so funny if me and Keemstar fucked and I like
Well,
owned him.
okay, I don't know if it went that far, but he did definitely.
He said
say-
something along
he said
those
something where
lines.
It definitely seemed like there was some sort of like some sort of like humiliation interest in the fact that if it was public that he was owning Keemstar while wearing a dress, that would be really funny. or
Yeah, which is
something.
such a weird
Which is just-
comment. And it's, again,
yeah.
he's like almost getting into his fetishes with you
Yeah,
unprompted.
where it's like a
That's
humiliation.
unhinged.
Yeah,
okay.
it was just too much. And again, like I said, out of context, whatever. But explicitly, again, as I said earlier, after he told me all this, he gave me permission to share it. So we'll continue reading this statement and we'll get into all of it. But then he says,
I deleted it after he replied for safety reasons, but last night the existence of this leaked, and apparently Connor has shown a bunch of my ex-friends the image, despite me deleting it quickly, and him knowing I didn't want anyone else to know about the image.
yeah. So obviously, complete lie. At the time during the call, he told me explicitly, as I said earlier, that I had permission to show and tell you anything that he talked about. And it is partially true that he did delete the images from the DMs. He actually did remove them. But the way that happened is not as he's saying. He didn't say he deleted it for his safety. He sent them to me pretty much unprompted. I was kind of shocked. I don't really recall saying much about it at the time. We talked a little bit more. 'Cause he
What are you supposed to say?
he was also just rambling, saying a lot. And then towards the end of the call, he gave me explicit permission to share it. And then he decided to delete it because we were still kind of talking about Twitter versus things and work things.
You were his
In
editor
fact-
at the time, so
yeah.
you guys were mainly talking about content.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. So we were still talking about Twitter versus things, and the message immediately following that call actually is related to Twitter versus. And so he said like something along the lines of that he didn't want it to be too distracting or too much in our DMs, so he just removed it from our DMs. But he still gave me explicit permission to show or tell. I mean, to show it to you explicitly. So that's what I did.
Right. And here's the thing, right? I only showed it to 2 people. I feel like a lot of people have the impression that I just spammed this picture to everybody in the community.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I was out of the community at the time. Like, I was off the internet, right? This was it back in July, okay? The only people I showed it to were the 2 people that were there for Boblox's mental breakdown with Nick, which was Nick himself and Aiden Projects, who was in call with Boblox the entire time that conversation was taking place. So I shared it to them in context because they were both there for the mental breakdown. Both of them were concerned about Boblox. I had just seen this picture. I was like, holy shit. I just saw a picture of Boblox in a dress that he's sending to you amidst all this other craziness, right? Now you got this fucking thing on top of it. I mean, did I laugh? You know, obviously.
shocking.
It's a fucking picture of Bolex in a dress.
Yeah,
How do you
of
not laugh at that? That's hilarious, right? But it's also deeply concerning at the same time. I kind of was like, oh, I recall like having a mix of emotions. I was like disgusted. I was laughing, but then I was like, what the hell's going on? Concerned? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Which
so
is
I sent it.
probably the point of Boblox sending that too. Is a little bit of that because after he sent it to me, I definitely was having the same kind of reaction. It was just like, okay.
Oh, right. I saw it. I was just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Why did this have to be something that I've seen? You know what I mean? And I sent it to Nick and Aiden, and were laughs had? I mean, no fucking shit, right? But it wasn't like sending it to him because we're like, oh, let's prepare our big Boblox stream now. Burn him now, or
how he
whatever.
framed it, where it was after the whole Boblox stream. We're like, actually, you know something really funny that we have the whole time?
In his statement, he says Connor then showed it to a bunch of his ex-friends. We weren't his ex-friends at the time.
You guys were his friends. And another thing he does too is he says, I deleted it after he replied for safety reasons. He's also implying that this happened in a text conversation we were calling. So he doesn't even remember like any
I don't
details
think
of
he
this
even
context.
remembers, if I'm giving him full credit, I don't even think he remembers giving you permission to show that picture to me.
Probably not, because like he said, I deleted after he replied as if I sent some sort of message. No, this was like a long, hour-long call that we had about everything, including like at the same time, one thing that drama was in at the time was the Mr. Beast Lava GS stuff, where he leaked a bunch of shit and all of his friends were feeling like really kind of like the lyrics talked about in his videos. His friends were like, oh, whoa, why is he leaking a bunch of shit about Mr. Beast and Lava GS? This is like the same, we talked about that in that same call.
Yeah, the irony of Boblox crying about anything getting leaked after leaking the lyrics call, after leaking a bunch of stuff from Lava GS, which is a situation, admittedly, I don't really know anything about.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently he did that.
Like, secretly recorded Lava GS calling Mr. Beast on the phone and showed that around. One of the people he showed was me, along with other people.
Yeah.
And Lava GS ended up hearing about that and was like, what the fuck? So yeah, this was the exact same call that he was telling me about the Lava GS stuff. He also showed me this and then gave me permission to show it to you. So he doesn't even remember the specific details of the conversation. He's lying about the timeline that happened as if it was ex-friends. It just doesn't.
As if you held on to this picture for months and then showed it after we had burned the Boblox Bridge.
To like
no,
dozens of people.
Yeah, that's not true. But I showed it to Aiden and Nick, who are actively engaged, people who engage in this community, and they were relevant people to show it to. And obviously, I guess they just talked about it to a bunch of people, right? Which, I mean, you know, I guess is unnecessary for them to talk about it to other people because, I mean, why do they need to do that? But at the same time, I hardly feel sympathy for Boblox because it's like, dude, first of all, sending this picture in the first place is crazy. You know what I mean? Sending it to Connor like that is nuts. Having this fucking big mental breakdown, lying about people, recording the fucking lyrics called, leaking a bunch of Lava GS shit. I mean, how the fuck could I feel, you know, bad about this for too long? It's like, dude, take some accountability, take some fucking responsibility, dude.
And on top of it too, it's like he would have shown this to basically anyone behind the scenes that asked. He already had given me permission to share it to someone else, right, which was you, and he was offering this and more to Nick Diorio. Which
he
Nick
was
just
telling
didn't say
random
yes.
community spurgs he was non-binary in their DMs. First DM.
Exactly. So it's not like this was some sort of really secret thing like he keeps trying to portray it as, where, you know, it was just like one or two friends he told this. There's no other context around it, and we were just the biggest assholes of all time to him. It's like, that's just not true. That's just completely just not true. He's like rebuilt this timeline of this framing, I think, to maliciously try to attack us. And I mean, thank God he deleted this tweet after I correctly called him out, but I don't know.
It's just so stupid, man. It's like, this is a situation where it's like, yeah, maybe he could have like a legitimate complaint about people just talking about his like,
or like knowing of it,
business or whatever.
Scenes, yeah.
But the way that he words it, he almost like smears you. He does like a smear attack on you as if you're some guy that just outs, you know, gay people or something like that, right?
Which is not at all what I did.
Yeah, it's not the context just completely destroys that narrative, every possible bit of it. I mean, I guess if there's anybody you should be mad at, I guess it should be me because maybe, but even still, it's like,
he offered it to Nick. He already offered the same picture you showed to Nick, and then Aiden, I wouldn't be surprised.
Aiden's somebody he's confided to about a ton of shit.
Well, Aiden was there during the whole conversation.
Yeah.
He was guiding Boblox to apologize to Nick behind the scenes. So Aiden was there along the whole way, the whole ride. So both of the people you showed were directly relevant and probably people he also would have showed and told everything to.
Yeah.
I just got it because I think I was the only person who called Boblox on voice during this time. A lot of people were just texting him, you know, checking up on him or whatever. I directly called him and I was hanging out with him kind of as a friend. So at that moment, I was the first person to just get it sent to me just as quickly as possible in a voice context. But again, him to act like that this would not have been something that he showed all the people who knew about it, and to frame me as just some sort of crazy asshole, it's just bullshit. It's malicious. It's completely malicious bullshit.
No, this was completely malicious. And he ends the statement off. He said he had to have screenshotted it instantly and lied to my face for weeks as he continued to pretend to be my friend. So this last part is just total fantasy.
Well, yeah, no wonder I actually did screenshot it because you told me to share it with someone. You
The
told me I
fuck
had
were you supposed to
permission
do?
share it with someone. So I did. I think I was out of town at the time, so I didn't show you it in person directly. I sent it to you. I mean, yeah, no shit I did, but it's not me pretending to be your friend for weeks. You asked me to do it, so I did what you asked me to do.
Well, he acts like he also puts like so much importance on like the fact that, you know, these are my friends, whatever, right? Boblax, this is something I mentioned in the comments too. A lot of people, you know, in my recent Boblax coverage, have almost been like very upset with me for talking so ill of my former friends. They think that because we were friends that I owe a much more immense amount of charity towards them than I've been giving him, right? And it's like, okay, if Boblax since like very much valued my friendship with him, don't you think he would have been reaching out to me like post drama? Like I never really cut the even after hours, like I never really cut him off.
Yeah.
You know, I did talk about his public actions like I would any other person, right? Just because you're my friend doesn't mean you get special privileges. Or, I mean, I have probably extended special privileges to friends of mine in the past.
Of course,
yeah, but I don't really want to do that anymore.
You criticize them that all of a sudden now you're an asshole, right? It's like you can criticize someone who's your friend. You can call them out, especially
obviously
when they lie to you, right? That's another.
Yeah,
thing
he
too.
lied to me a bunch of times. So it's like if he valued my friendship, wouldn't he be trying everything he could to make amends, apologize for the lies, really take an effort to start telling the truth a little bit more? It feels like he just, as soon as like I started talking about the shit that he was doing publicly, you know, then he like, first of all, he blocked me in after hours. He, you know, started freaking out and stuff like that. And then he unblocked me a little bit and then blocked me again afterwards when he made this like phony apology and I called him out for that. It's like, okay, well, you know, do you really care that much, right? So it's like, I see a lot of people in the comments that are like, you should be way more nicer to Boblax because he was your friend or whatever, right? It's like, bullshit. He should be honest to me.
Actually, he should have been nicer to you.
He
and
should
not
be
lie
more
to your
honest to me
face.
if he cares. Like, I mean, and I even saying that just sounds gay. Like,
it's like
if he cares about me, it's like.
But the truth is if we're having a conversation about caring, then we have to go to that level.
It's got to go both ways.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
I mean, and realistically, it doesn't matter that much. But if we're gonna go to that level, we have to care about this. Then well, let's talk about Boblax's actions of him lying and being just a insane, delusional, like fucking bad friend in multiple different avenues.
He's getting eaten alive right now on Twitter. Mr. Medicare is tweeting about it. He's like, I just don't understand it. I show my friends a picture of me in a dress with cum slut written in ruby red lipstick across my forehead, and he started laughing and showed it to other people. Which is not true. He did not.
That is not how it happened. But it is funny, but it's not how it happened.
Oh my god, dude. I mean, yeah. Well,
it also doesn't say that. That's not what it
Well, that's the part I was saying is not true. I mean, look, again, I did laugh. Okay. How do you not? Come on, dude. How do you not? You just be honest here, okay?
It's a very shocking picture to get. Very shocking picture to get.
And then Josh Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms, says, I warned you, Boblax. And Josh Moon, I guess, and Boblax had like a big, they had like a beef or whatever on Twitter where Boblax made this very ill-informed tweet at Josh Moon, who's again the owner of Kiwi Farms, by the way.
Yeah.
He said, why are you disgusted that I don't hate all trans people, Lamau? You're weird as fuck, man. Which is like the silliest tweet of all time. You can tweet at Josh Moon.
Owner of Kiwi Farms,
some of ours are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness, or make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. We all have something that digs at us. At least we dig each other. The that dictated us. At least we dig each other. So when sickness turns my ego up, I know you act as a clever medicine. If I turn into another, dig me up from under what is covering the better part of me. Sing this song. Remind me that we'll always have each other when everything else is gone. Oh, each other when everything else is gone. Take me out from under what is covering the better part of me. Sing this song. Remind me that we'll always have each other when everything else is gone. Oh, each other when everything else is gone. Oh, each other when everything else is gone.
Your lipstick is calling up by the angel. I know exactly what goes on. When everything you get is everything that you want in reason.
Would you prefer
My finger on the trigger or
me face down, down across your floor?
I mean face down, down across your floor.
Me face down, down across your floor.
Well, just so long as this thing's loaded. And will you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head? This all was only wishful thinking. This all was only wishful thinking. And will you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head? This all was only wishful thinking. This all was only wishful thinking. Let's go. Don't bother trying to explain, Angel. I know exactly what goes on when you're rolling. How about I'm outside of your window? How about I'm outside of your window? Watching it, keep the details covered. You're such a sucker for a sweet sucker. And will you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head? This all was only wishful thinking. This all was only wishful thinking. And will you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head? This all was only wishful thinking. I never let you hold me back.
Hoping for the best, just hoping nothing happens. 1,000 clever lines and red and clever napkins. I won't ever ask if you don't ever tell me. I know you well enough to know you never loved me. Hoping for the best, just hoping nothing happens. 1,000 clever lines and red and clever napkins. I won't ever ask if you don't ever tell me. I know you well enough to know you never loved me. Hoping for the best, just hoping nothing happens. 1,000 clever lines and red and clever napkins. I won't ever ask
here. Yeah, no one's here. Fuck this. Fuck this fucking stream.